Middlebury College has this wonderful tradition of, at commencement, handing out replicas of Gamaliel Painter's cane. And that tradition is so wonderful because it ties right back to the founding of the college. When Gamaliel Painter died. Gamaliel Painter was one of the founders of Middlebury College, and he was also a founder of the town of Middlebury in many ways. On the occasion of his death, he offered a major bequest to Middlebury College that left $13,000, which was a very, very sizable sum at that time, and helped secure really the future of the college. And in that bequest, he left his cane, which was really a symbol of the man because he was known for walking across the town, walking across the college, carrying this cane, which, by the way, in the early 19th century, a cane or walking stick, a symbol of authority, and that's really what Painter represented to Middlebury town and college. During the early part of the 20th century, American higher education was undergoing changes, and part of the change was the development of a collegiate culture, and that meant having symbols and traditions that were connected with each college and university. And at Middlebury, that took the form of the focus on Gamaliel Painter's cane. There is nothing like Gamaliel Painter's cane. In the early 20th century, a song was written, Gamaliel Painter's Cane, by E. Pruda Wiley, a student, and Charles Baker Wright, a college professor. And there was a rediscovery of Painter's cane that had been sort of lost for time. Those two together helped make the cane and Gamaliel Painter a real symbol of Middlebury College.
How else do you tie back to your founding father of the school? I mean, this was an important object for him, and it carries on as a symbol of caring about education, caring about handing something down.
What's interesting is that women were playing such a role in the revival of the cane and in propagating these collegiate traditions. And in fact, there were elaborate ceremonies that involved women passing on the cane to one another that really marked Middlebury and its traditions. As well, you had the rise of intercollegiate sports, and particularly major football contests. And the cane and the song became associated with Middlebury's prowess and success on the athletic fields. And that prowess and that success was reflecting characteristics of Gamaliel Painter.
My name is John Lomas. My business is John Lomas Custom Furniture. We're sitting in my workshop here in Heinsberg on the Sheldon Falls Road, and I am the person who makes the Gamaliel Painter canes for Middlebury College. It all started when I was working for the McCardell group, and there was an alumni of the college working there. Middlebury College contacted him, and we tried to figure out how we could do this, which took some time, a lot of prototyping, a lot of experimentation, but finally we came up with a product that was acceptable, more than acceptable, I hope, and we've been doing that ever since. The first part of the process is sourcing the raw material for the shaft, which is a native New England ash, and that has to be sawn and dried prior to being put on the lathes. When that is done, the caps are made out of, again, a locally sourced birch, and those are painted white. And at that point, the shafts are stained a dark brown, and they come into our spray booth where we apply 2 coats of clear finish, rubbing out the finish between coats and buffing it out at the end. And after that, we get into the assembly process, which involves putting on the brass foot, the brass ring that holds the ribbons. We drill the holes for the plaque, and we apply the white cap to the shaft, and at that point we're done. And so it's a real privilege for me to be involved with the history of the college and to locally produce an item which is, I believe, something that the students can hold and appreciate, both from the perspective of its craftsmanship and its relationship to the history of the college.
In the 1960s, revolution was in the air. And colleges and universities were on the cutting edge of social change. And that was the case at Middlebury College. And many of the traditions and customs, like the cane and song, went by the wayside. Although many of these traditions had disappeared, President Olin Robison had the vision to restore the cane as a central feature of Middlebury College life. When I arrived in the fall of 1978, I can remember being in Mead Chapel at Convocation, and President Olin Robison is holding up Gamaliel Painter's cane really as the mace of the college. And then it ultimately circulated among the student body. By 1995, President John McCardell raised the cane tradition to a whole new level by handing out at commencement replicas of Gamaliel Painter's cane to all the graduates.
We begin at commencement 1995 a new tradition by presenting to each of you a replica of Gamaliel Painter's cane. And in so doing, we commemorate the beginning of a new and lifelong relationship symbolized by that cane between you and your alma mater.
The Gamaliel Painter song at commencement is special in that the graduates are just getting their canes, and it's the start of their future after Middlebury. And then when they come back for reunion, it's integrated into the tradition of convocation. And at that point, the younger alumni come in and they see this really amazing presence. And they are all rapping and tapping their cane, and the whole Mead Chapel group is singing together.
And he left us all by will to the college on the hill, and included in...
If someone were to parachute from the early 20th century to a Middlebury commencement of today, they would understand that that is linking them to earlier traditions, to the history of the college. They would recognize what is happening. They would see the cane as a symbol of Middlebury today and yesterday. And it brings us all together, ties us all back to the earlier history of the college, and makes us one community.